Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the War Room alongside Chris Schroyer. I'm Shrikar Rajendran. All right, UFC 324, full card predictions and the betting breakdown for you guys. First card of 2026. And I'm not going to lie, Chris, I am ridiculously hyped for this card. Even without Kayla and Amanda, very, very hyped for this one. If you've been tuning into our streams, we've been talking about this card a lot. I bet you've heard some of our predictions before. Now these are just an update on those predictions. Some things have changed, some things have not. I'll just say it that way. But we've got the Paramount debut right in front of us. So do us a favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, turn those post notifications on, share the video. Let's run it up. And yeah, we are back. Man, it feels so good to say that, Chris. We are back.
Yes, sir.
6-week hiatus. What are your thoughts on the card? What are your thoughts on the Paramount debut?
Dude, I'm hyped. I think this is going to be great. The one thing I'm upset about is that we're not going to see Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes, but I'm not going to let that ruin the card. I still think this is a great way to kick off a new era for the UFC, for the fans as well. It's going to be very interesting to not pay $80 for a pay-per-view and pay, if you're buying for the whole year, it's $58 for the entire year, which is $20 less than a pay-per-view last year. So I think the UFC is going to see a huge uptick in viewership. I'd also like to see how it works when these numbered cards, not pay-per-views, show up on cable. But yeah, I think this is a great way to kick it off. The UFC really wanted to make this card, as stacked as possible. And I think it's good. I'm looking forward to a lot of these fights. I think the prelims are going to be, action packed. And then the main card, kicking off the main card with Arnold Allen and John Silva. You can't get better than that. That's going to be an absolute war. Actually, wait, is Umar and Figgy is kicking off the main card now, right?
No, it's not. It's still Allen Silva.
It's still Allen Silva. Oh yeah. Because they moved
Silva and Rose up to the main card, and they're in the fourth slot. So
okay. So yeah.
By the way, is this card on CBS or is it just Paramount Plus?
I believe it's only on Paramount Plus.
Let us know in the comments if it's on CBS. Then maybe we're missing something. I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
But let us know if we're wrong. Obviously, main event, Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. That is a fight that I am super, super ecstatic and hyped for. I think that's going to be a fantastic fight. But without further ado, let's get right into it. First fight of the night, Ty Thriller Miller versus, I like to say Adam Fugitt, but Adam Fugitt will be nice. I'm going to keep it real. I think Ty Miller boxes Adam Fugitt's head off. Miller's hands are the big difference here. Better combos, cleaner boxing. He's even got a slight reach edge, which is wild because Fugitt is usually the guy with the range advantage. That reach, power, the style where it's like, oh, I'm just going to swing hard. It's helped Fugitt steal some fights against guys he probably wasn't clearly better than. But here he's giving up range to someone who's just better at boxing. Miller does a great job catching dudes at the end of his punches, and that's a nightmare matchup for Fugitt. He's pretty hittable down the middle. I think Fugitt gets tagged early and often. Now, can Fugitt wrestle? Sure. And honestly, that's his best path. Make it ugly, clinch, get it down, look for a sub, or maybe land some big shots from top. But I don't think Miller is easy to control. His footwork is legit. And I liked what I saw from him in the Jimmy Drago win. That was a kind of masterclass from Miller, where it was a back and forth fight, but still one-sided, I would say. Drago ate a ton and kept coming. I don't think Fugitt has that same kind of chin. And look, Fugitt's recent results are rough. He got crushed by Dulatov, split decision win over Quinlan, and let's be honest, Quinlan off steroids was terrible. And most of Fugitt's losses lately have been finish losses. That's the big red flag. If you're consistently getting finished, and now you're fighting a young, sharp boxer with clean timing, yeah, bad night. So I'm taking Miller to win, and I think he adds another finish to that trend. Blue chip prospect, 25 years old, slick hands, long arms, 6'2" at 170. I'm telling you, the guy has a real future. So give me Ty Miller.
I accidentally muted myself. There was some noise going on in the background. But yeah, I'm actually glad that you mentioned Adam Fugitt's track record. I'm also going to go Ty Miller. Just put that out there. I think I think he'll win by finish. I'm going to call a knockout from Ty Miller. What I saw on Contender Series, like you mentioned, Shrikar in his fight against Jimmy Drago, I was impressed. He's a long, rangy fighter. He has power, good boxer. But I think something that should be duly noted is that Fugitt does have a good amount of experience and about 3 times as more experience than Ty Miller, 10-6 against 6-0. So Miller is still a little bit raw, but we've seen what he can do, and I think it's very impressive. And, you look at some of Fugitt's losses in professional MMA, and they're really not to any chumps. I mean, in early on in his career, lost to Austin Vanderford, who is also in the UFC, and recently, the past 3 years, got knocked out by Michael Morales. We know what Michael Morales is doing right now. Very impressive from him. Got choked out by Mike Malott and then lost to Islam Dulatov most recently. So, the people that he's losing to are not bad. They're actually very good. So, I mean, Fugitt is very tough, and I think that he should get credit for that. But, sometimes being tough isn't going to win you fights. It's the actual quality of the skills that you're putting out there. I think this is going to be a good showing and debut from Ty Miller, and I'm excited for it. And I think this should be a banger to kick off the night, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think Adam Fugitt's going to go quietly, and I don't think Ty Miller is going to be very passive in this fight. So give me Ty Miller by knockout. I'm going to say in round 2. I think Fugitt will be able to adjust slightly early on, but I think Ty Miller is going to want to pour it on him as the fight gets later and later.
Miller's a massive favorite, around -455, and honestly, I get it. If you get around +350, and I just don't see the path. I think the over 1.5 is interesting because Miller isn't just a one-shot power guy. He can finish, but he also builds damage with volume.
Mm-hmm.
That said, he does crack, and he's even got that quick knockout on his resume. Fugitt can be a sitting duck, especially at 37, coming off a bad loss. Like, where's his head at? So
Exactly.
We don't have the full odds released to us. All we have right now are total rounds and money line. If you're looking at props, I think Miller by knockout is going to be live. So yeah, my call. I'll also go Ty Miller by knockout. I think he styles on Fugitt and shuts the lights off. High pace, strong start to the Paramount era. Any last thoughts on that? I mean, I think we're both going Ty Miller by knockout.
No,
but
yeah, I'm assuming Miller by knockout. He's sitting at like -450 right now. I'm gonna say it might be around -200. So actually, that's a little bold. I would say anywhere between -150 and -200 for Miller's knockout. But if it's lower than -200, I think that's some pretty good value if you're gonna parlay it.
All right, Ricky Turcios versus Cameron Smotherman. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love this fight, and I hope I'm wrong. But I think it's gonna be one of those competitive, kind of messy decisions. So that being said, Chris, where are you going with in this one?
Yeah, I think this actually could
also because you guys might be wondering where Sam is. We're gonna show Sam's picks up top as well. I think Chris. By the time you've seen this, Chris already made that evident in his editing. But we're gonna put the picks up for you. Picks is resetting, so all the records reset. We're all back to even. It's a new season, so
I'll throw out a quick plug. Shrikar did win last year, so.
Oh yes, sir. Yes. Hey, that it went without saying. I didn't really have to tell y'all. I'm just coming to defend my belt, so we're gonna get the job done this time too.
Don't worry, I'm making it rough on him this year. No more.
Yeah, this is
no more playing games.
Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out. But Turcios Smotherman, who you got?
Yes, I think this should be an interesting fight to say the least. On the side of Ricky Turcios, I mean, this guy throws caution to the wind. He comes out like he's fighting with a chip on his shoulder every single time. Very aggressive, he just fights mean. Like when he just looks like he's a mean guy when he's in the octagon. And he does it every time. And I think on the side of Cameron Smotherman, I think he's going to really have to deal with not adversity per se, but pressure that Turcios is going to put on him. Turcios isn't a fighter that really likes to back up. He likes to back you down. So Smotherman, he is a little bit longer. He does have more crisp shots at his disposal. Ricky Turcios is more of a volume fighter, and Smotherman's more of a guy where he might not throw a lot, but he's going to make sure he connects on the shots that he's throwing. You know, more of a timing over volume guy, which I like. I think that could fare well against a fighter like Ricky Turcios. But, you know, they're both coming off 2 losses, so that's something to look at. Smotherman has been a lot more active than Ricky Turcios recently. You know, if you look down at the bottom of the Tapology screen, you see Smotherman has had 5 fights between 2024 and the end of 2025. Turcios 5 fights in the last 4 years. So that is something to note. I think, you know, being a little bit more active could fare well in this fight. I'm going to go Cameron Smotherman. I do think there is value on Ricky Turcios. You know, he's sitting at around plus 160, and I don't think that's bad. I do see this going to decision. I don't see either of these guys getting finished. If there was going to be a finish involved, I would say it would be Cameron Smotherman by knockout, but I'm going to go Smotherman by decision. I think he's going to be able to navigate the aggression and pace that Turcios is going to want to push on him. And he's just going to pick his shots, you know, being a little bit longer. I believe he has a bigger reach. If you could scroll down Tricard, just so I'm not talking crazy. Oh, actually, no, he doesn't.
Reach.
He is. Oh, they're the same size. Okay. All right. So I guess I am crazy a little bit. I thought Smotherman was a little bit bigger. But regardless, if he has a 2-inch disadvantage in reach, I still think that the quality and timing of his shots are going to give Turcios problems because he likes to rush in. But yeah, should be an interesting fight. I don't see a finish happening. That's why I'm going to go to decision. If you wanted to not take a horse in this race, I would take this fight to go the distance. I don't know the odds on that, but Shrikar, what you thinking? Who's going to win?
I'm also picking Cameron Smotherman by decision. Smotherman is just the better striker, better boxing, better speed, cleaner offense. Turcios can be weirdly passive on the feet, low output, slowish, lots of high guard. His striking honestly feels like it's almost like an old school jiu-jitsu first guy who picked up some punching along the way, you know, like Turcios's best weapon is obviously the BJJ. The wrestling is fine. He can hit takedowns, but he's not this dominant chain wrestler. And yes, Smotherman has shown some takedown vulnerability. So I do think Turcios gets him down at least once, maybe off a trip or clinch work. But I think Smotherman minds his P's and Q's. He's 28, still improving, right? I think he is 28.
Yeah, his age 28. Should be there.
And I like his ceiling way more. Turcios is 32 and feels like the same guy from The Ultimate Fighter. Honestly, maybe even worse. And that's the problem. The real danger here is a fluky submission, just like the Rosas fight, where Turcios got a moment on the back and almost got it. So I'm not telling you to bet Smotherman like it's a lock of the century, but I think he is the better athlete, better striker, should win minutes. I'm thinking 29-28 Smotherman. Competitive, but, you know, clear. Smotherman around minus 205. Turcios plus 165. Smotherman opened wider. I believe when the lines opened, he was like minus 350. So money came in on Turcios. It's probably because people are thinking about the grappling and the threat that he would pose there. I would definitely look at distance. Distance makes sense. If Smotherman wins, it's probably on the cards. So yeah, Smotherman by decision. And if I'm Turcios, man, if I lose this fight, pink slip, brother. That might be it. And we'll also look at the Tapology community. Why not? It's available to us. A majority going Smotherman by decision. Definitely the pick that I would go with. But yeah, I think Cameron Smotherman gets this one done. And now we move on to heavyweight. Josh Hokit, the incredible, or is it Hokit? The Incredible Hawk. Josh Hokit, the Incredible Hawk versus Denzel, Luke Fox Freeman.
It's an interesting nickname.
Yeah, give me Josh Hokit. Yeah, he's a smaller heavyweight frame size. He's 6'1", 73.5-inch reach, but that's almost why I like him, because he's actually athletic, right? He's only 236, and he's a real wrestler, collegiate background, and it translates to MMA. He can control guys, he can ride position, his ground and pound is legit. Like, he is bringing that old school beat you up from top style back. And on the feet, he's coming along. Not an elite striker, good, but for a heavyweight outside the top 15, he's clean enough. Training at Jackson Wink, the boxing is tightening up. He's got speed most heavyweights don't have. Freeman's issue for me is passiveness. Even going back to his PFL stuff, like, he'll throw a couple big punches and then just kind of wait. That UFC debut was rough too. I had to watch that in person in Qatar. It was not good. Freeman can wrestle a bit, and he's got that pro wrestling background, but he is not out wrestling Hokit. I think Hokit ends up on top, starts wearing Freeman down. I'm leaning Hokit by TKO, ground and pound. Could be hands, could be top position, but I think he breaks him.
Yeah, I don't think you could have said it better. I'm also going Josh Hokit by ground and pound TKO. And I'm glad you mentioned Denzel Freeman's UFC debut in Qatar against Marek Builo. I think that, it was all right. He did enough to win the fight. However, just a very passive fight, something that I really didn't want to see from him. Freeman is an ex-Marine. He does also have a wrestling background. However, Hokit's wrestling background, I'm going to say, supersedes that. Like you said, collegiate. And the guy's just an athlete and a former NFL player. And, sometimes, it might not be the size of the guy. They're relatively the same size. Other than the reach, there is a reach advantage for Denzel Freeman. But even in his last fight, like I just mentioned, he didn't really use it that much. I mean, he showed that he can punch. He does have a few kicks. So if he's going to come out and be aggressive, my mind might change on him. But what I've seen from Josh Hokit is he comes out and he is aggressive. He kind of just goes balls to the wall instantly. And I mean, I think this is a great launching pad for Josh Hokit. But he can cut a good promo, whether you like what he says or you don't. I mean, he says some questionable things that we're not going to get into, but the guy knows how to control the microphone and, grab some attention for himself. So if he wins this fight, which I think he will, be ready for a crazy promo that he's going to cut. But, I think that this is a good fight for him to showcase his abilities, even if he just wants to stand and strike. I mean, Freeman, I would say, has the advantage in the striking realm, not by an overwhelming amount, but we've also seen Josh Hokit have hands. I mean, what he did to Max Jimenez was crazy. And even though Jimenez really is not a striker at all, he's more of a BJJ guy that kind of just hopped into MMA, and it really showed. It's, you still got to go out there and get it done. And Hokit didn't even have to bring him down and wrestle him. He cracked him on the feet and he got it done. So I think this is it's not going to be a great fight. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, oh, you got to watch this fight. But I think that Hokit is definitely someone to look out for in this heavyweight, right? He's a heavyweight.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. For some reason I thought he was light heavyweight. He's not. They're both big boys.
Well, how small he is, you would think he could fight at light heavyweight if he wanted.
He could, and maybe down the line, if heavyweight isn't working out for him, that could be a little change in career trajectory and paths. But from what I've seen, I mean, he looks pretty fit. He can move around very well. I think we're gonna see a few takedowns from him if one doesn't get it done, which I very well could see it getting one takedown, getting this done. But yeah, I just think the pressure is going to be too much for Denzel Freeman. And unless he comes out and he flips the script on what he did last time, I'm taking Josh Hokit by knockout. I like that pick. I think that's good value too. And the line is, it's not too far apart. So, I mean, Hokit's probably minus 230, 250, depending on what book you're looking at.
250.
Okay, yeah. So depending on what book you're looking at, hey, there might be some value in knockout, for being completely honest. Or if you want to play it safe, a finish. We haven't really seen too many submissions from Hokit, but yeah, I like it. Josh Hokit by knockout. I'm gonna say first round too. He doesn't like to play around with his food. He likes to go out and take it. So
I completely agree. Hokit around minus 250, Freeman plus 200. I would also look at that knockout live, the knockout line. I think that's pretty live. So Josh Hokit wins, and I will also call it a TKO. Moving right along, Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. All right, Chris, who you got?
Yeah, this is interesting. Michael Johnson, very grizzled vet. He has fought some of the best lightweights in the world. And Alexander Hernandez, what we've seen from him recently, he kind of has reinvented himself and found himself after a rough go in the beginning of his UFC career. He came in a very, very overconfident. I remember one of his first fights. I believe it was his first fight against Donald Cerrone. I mean, he was talking crazy, and Cerrone kind of showed him this is how it's going to go. I'm going to show you what a veteran can do. And being confident is a good thing. Being overconfident, you can kind of shoot yourself in the foot. And I think that's what Alexander Hernandez did. But recently, he's been fighting very well. And I can say the same for Michael Johnson. I mean, he's, like I said, been in there with the best. Michael Johnson, he's more of a just grind it out, and really, he has good striking. I mean, it's not amazing, but he has power. He can hit you, he can tag you up, and he can make his way through the fight, and he can manage with most fighters. I mean, what he just did to Daniel Zellhuber as a plus 450, near 500 underdog. I mean, I think that I wouldn't call him a prospect killer, but when he gets in the ring, he knows who he's fighting and what he can do, and just really try and manage through the situation that he's given. And Zellhuber is a lot bigger than him too. So I got to give props to Michael Johnson. But Hernandez, what I've seen is he's still got the same explosiveness, fast, powerful. He can get tagged up, and when he does get tagged, he has the tendency to start leaking a lot. I mean, his scar tissue is not great. So, I mean, he might necessarily win the fight on not scorecards, but the eye test. But then you take the eye test for what it is, and he looks a lot more damaged than Michael Johnson might be. So if it gets to scorecards, that might be a very interesting thing to pay attention to, especially because it's in Vegas and they like damage. I'm going to side with Alexander Hernandez in this one, though. I think he's on a nice little run here, and he's been active as well. Michael Johnson hasn't been as active, but he still has the results to prove. As you can see, 4-1 in his last 5. Same thing with Alexander Hernandez. But yeah, I mean, if Michael Johnson wins, I really wouldn't be shocked at all. I just like the trajectory that Hernandez has been on, and what I've seen from him. He's a lot more calm and, not too patient, but he's not willing to throw himself in the fire where he's going to get clipped as well. I mean, he can dart in and out, powerful hands. And yeah, I think he'll be able to manage with Michael Johnson. But like I said, I can see this line getting a lot shorter than it is right now. So, if you're taking Michael Johnson, might want to take him right now. If you're taking Alexander Hernandez, it might benefit you to wait. I mean, it's still early in the week. We're recording this right now on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So I can see this line getting shorter. So if you want some value and you want to wait, personally, I like betting on fights right before they happen or right before the card. That sometimes that hurts me because I lose value or I gain value. So it's kind of give or take. But yeah, I'm going to go with Alexander Hernandez. I think he gets this done. And I think we're going to see a decision. He can knock out Michael Johnson, and Michael Johnson can do the same to him. But I think we're going to see a really hard fought 3 rounds, very gritty from both of these guys.
I'm going with Michael Johnson.
I knew
I'm going with MJ. Upset pick. It's a hand speed thing for me. Hernandez has been knocking guys out lately, but context matters. Diego Ferreira was washed. Chase Hooper can't strike. Johnson is a tricky southpaw with fast hands and a nasty straight left. A lot of the times Johnson gets put out, it's those big loopy overhands catching him clean. Emmett style, Ferreira style. But Hernandez isn't really that same kind of overhand sniper. He moves a lot, works angles, but that can actually play right into Johnson's rhythm boxing from range. I think Hernandez should wrestle more, mix takedowns in, make Johnson work, maybe set up a big shot over the top. But I've got a feeling this turns into more of a kickboxing fight. And if it does, I like Johnson. He's the best, worst fighter ever. Beats killers, loses to randoms. But lately, he's put it together. And if he's sharp, I think he outboxes Hernandez and takes a decision. Hernandez around minus 210. Johnson plus 170. Hernandez opened way wider, and the line is tightened a ton. Not surprising. Johnson is a live dog. So my call is going to be Michael Johnson, the menace, by decision. I think he's going to get it done. And ladies and gentlemen,
not a bad pick.
That is the first instance of parity, unless Sam differs on one of these three fights, which I don't think he will. That is our first instance of parity in the year 2026. Hopefully it continues. I'm hoping this is a one-time occurrence for the rest of the year, Chris.
Hernandez is like minus 155 on DraftKings right now. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I can honestly see this being a pick'em before they go out to fight on Saturday.
I hope not. Everyone go bet Hernandez so I can get MJ a good bet.
Dude, that's what I was saying. I'm like, if you want to take Michael Johnson, you might have to take him right now if you want that value, unless you're going to method bet. But yeah, it'll be a good fight regardless. Don't get me wrong. That's one you might want to tune in for.
All right. Next up, Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson.
This is going to be a good fight too.
And Chris, I think it's time. Energy finally kicks the door down and gets into that upper tier at flyweight. And the crazy thing is, this dude has a win over Joshua Van. He's the current champ. Like,
he called out Josh Van. He said he sucked.
Like, it's still kind of madness to even say that out loud, but it's true. Charles Johnson has
one loss in the UFC.
He has been on one, man. Now, yeah, you see that loss a couple fights back to Ramazan Temirov. And then Temirov pops for banned substances and gets pulled.
Yeah, doesn't count. Don't look at that. It's all green.
I mean, I'm not saying that automatically means Temirov was on something in the Johnson fight, but come on. Like, you would be lying if you said it doesn't at least raise an eyebrow. And Johnson still won that third round against him. But the main reason I like Johnson here isn't even just momentum. It is the matchup. And I mean, Alex Perez is still good, man. Let's not do that thing where we pretend he's trash. I know Sam was going to come on here and say Perez was washed. His stand-up is legit. Heavy leg kicks, good hooks, solid kickboxing. Plus, he's got real wrestling and he's strong in scrambles. Perez can be a problem for a lot of flyweights. But stylistically, a long, rangy kickboxer with good footwork and solid grappling defense is exactly the kind of guy that can make Perez's life miserable. And that's what Charles Johnson is. Johnson's going to be pumping straights from the outside, keeping him at the end of punches, making Perez work to close distance. And the numbers here are nasty. Look at the reach gap. 65.5 versus 70. A 4.5-inch reach gap and about a 3-inch height difference. Perez is going to have to force entries. And that's where I think he's going to get tagged. Also, cardio matters. Perez fades. We literally saw it. By round 3 in that last fight, he starts looking rough. Johnson is the opposite. Johnson gets better as the fight goes on. He's one of those late bloomers. And at 35, he's like weirdly in his prime right now. Do I think Johnson knocks him out? It's possible. He's got timing and he can crack. But I'm leaning more Johnson by decision, 2-1, maybe even 3-0 if he really shuts him down from range. This feels like one of those career moment fights for Johnson. Like, if he wins this, he is no longer prospect killer. He is officially in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Hernandez basically had the Asu Almabayev fight in his hands before shooting an errant takedown, which got his neck snatched up, and he lost that fight in Qatar. I mean, I think that Johnson, like you said, Shrikar, I feel like it's finally his time to reach the rankings, or get back into the mix where personally I think he rightfully belongs. But on the other hand, you look at Alex Perez, the people he's lost to, he has very, very good losses as of late. I mean, a very bad 1-4 in his last 5. He has had a lot of injury history though, which, is something to definitely be weary of. But in his last couple fights, lost to Figueiredo, lost to Pantoja, lost to Muhammad Makayev, was beating Tatsuro Taira before blowing out his knee. And then, like we just mentioned, lost to Asu Almabayev in Qatar in November. I think that energy, he is really stepped up. And like you said, I think you said it perfectly. He's like weirdly in his prime right now.
Yeah.
And he's 35. It doesn't make sense. I think the one thing that Charles Johnson needs to make sure he doesn't do is start slow. He does like to start slow. He likes to find his rhythm. He likes to kind of beat around the bush and download information. And, it works for him. He can finish the fights in the later rounds, or he can really turn up. But Perez, he's a quick starter. He likes to, really push the message as soon as he can. In clinch situations, if it gets to that, I mean, Johnson's the longer fighter. I don't think he's going to want to be in that, but Perez has nasty leg kicks, especially on every exit of pretty much every clinch or just, dirty boxing exchange. I think Johnson's going to need to really pay attention to that, because if he starts chewing up his legs and takes away Johnson's mobility, which is a big strong suit that he has, I think Johnson might be in trouble. But yeah, I just think the energy striking is better, more crisp, accurate, and he just knows how to hit the button, bro. Like, it's just it's that simple. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Even his fight with Lonnie Kavanaugh in Shanghai. I mean, he was losing the first round. Lonnie came out very strong. Like I'm saying, he starts slow, and Perez likes to start fast. So I can definitely see Perez winning a round in this fight. Do not get me wrong. It might even be the first round. If he wins the first round, Charles Johnson live bet might be golden. Absolutely golden. But if Johnson can really emphasize a fast start and just put pressure on Perez, I think he can get him out of there quickly. I'm gonna go Charles Johnson by knockout, man. I think he finds it and he puts Perez out. And Perez has been getting finished recently, so I think that fits the context of this fight. So energy by knockout, give it to me. He hasn't done me wrong recently, and I'm not straying away from him. It's Skullet gang, baby. Big Skullet gang.
Johnson is around -185, Perez about +155. The line makes sense. The only prop angle I'm curious about, Perez has been caught in submissions before. And Johnson has those long, skinny arms. I'm not calling a Johnson sub because he's not some submission machine. But if the sub line pops up later and it's huge plus money, I'm definitely at least looking at it. But official pick, Charles Johnson wins, and I'll say he gets it done by unanimous decision. Moving further up the prelims, we got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas, the Baltic Gladiator versus the Miner. I'm just going to say it, and I'll let you get to your pick first, Chris. I think Krylov is washed. I think we're going to bring out that word for him. Well, what's your pick with all that considered?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I think Modestas is gonna really show that he's here in a big way, and if he hasn't shown that in his last 4 fights, I think he's gonna put an emphasis on doing it against Nikita Krylov. I mean, what he has been doing, and I mean, how much weight can you really put on a win over Paul Craig at this point? No disrespect to Paul Craig, but Bukauskas just needs to fight smart. Or Bukauskas. I don't know why I say Bukauskas. I always say that. I always put an extra S in there. I just think he needs to fight smart. There were a few exchanges with Paul Craig where he was actually trying to grapple with him, which I have absolutely zero idea why he was trying to do that. But walk off elbow at the buzzer. Paul Craig couldn't get up, effectively retired right after that. I just like what he brings to the table. Modestas. He's a mass in the octagon. He is huge. And Krylov on a skill level has the better striking. Don't get me wrong. This guy has been in the game for so long and he has a wealth of experience. But Bukauskas, he's explosive. He's like a fast twitch type of athlete. And he's powerful too. So what we've seen from Krylov recently, getting knocked out brutally by Dominic Reyes and Bogdan Guskov back to back, recency bias or not, I still think that Bukauskas has the ability and the tools to knock out Nikita Krylov and do it in a vicious way. I'm going to go Modestas Bukauskas by knockout. And I think it's going to be in the first round. I don't see Krylov getting out of this. I think Bukauskas pushes the envelope and gets his hand raised.
I know it's blunt to just say that Krylov is washed, but yeah, just look at the timeline. Long layoff, comes back, gets violently chinned by Dominic Reyes, like one shot slept. Then he turns around a few months later and gets knocked out again in round 1 by Bogdan Guskov. Now he's back again not long after that, and he's fighting Modestas Bukauskas. He has been improving every time we see him and looks like he's right in his physical prime. This isn't the Krylov from the era where it was like tough as hell, can take a shot, gritty grappler with solid kickboxing. This version looks stiff, slower reactions, more hittable. The chin looks gone. And I'm not saying Bukauskas is some one-shot nuclear bomb, but he has clean combos, and he's athletic as hell. And if Krylov's chin is truly fading, Modestas is absolutely capable of putting him out. Honestly, the vibe I get is that Krylov is on that arc where you go from never really gets rocked to now he just gets knocked out every time someone touches him.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he's Chuck Liddell level yet, but it's giving that energy. So, yeah, I'll go Bukauskas by knockout. Krylov is currently sitting at around plus 125. Modestas around minus 150. And I don't understand people backing Krylov here. I think those odds are kind of heinous.
I agree.
He's washed, and he's plus 125. Like, I'd rather get the prime guy at minus 150. That is the side. So I will be hammering Bukauskas. If you're looking at props, Bukauskas by knockout. If that stays anywhere near even money, I like it. Based on how these odds are looking right now, I think you're going to get really good value on the knockout prop. So that's what I target. But yeah, give me Modestas Bukauskas by knockout. And honestly, I think Krylov might be close to done. Moving right along. Ateba Gautier, the silent assassin, versus Andrey Pulyaev. All right. This is a squash match. Let's call it what it is. This is the fight where it's like, okay, Paramount prelims are rolling. People are tuning in. Let's show them something violent. Ateba Gautier is a freak. Like, genuinely looks like he could fight at heavyweight. I don't know how this dude makes 185. And I'm guessing the answer is that he's 23 and his body is still cheating. Pulyaev is skilled from range, long arms, sharpshooter, decent outside game. But physically, he is the opposite of imposing. He is skinny. And when someone pressures him and puts hands on him, he starts looking uncomfortable. And that is the worst possible matchup against Gautier because Gautier is a wrecking ball. He's going to walk him down and throw thunder. And the thing is, Gautier isn't just raw athleticism. He's got a base, combat sambo background, and the power is insane. I'm giving Pulyaev 3 minutes, and that's me being generous. He gets 3 minutes. That's it.
Yeah, give me the middleweight Francis Ngannou. Give me Ateba Gautier. Pulyaev does have a solid striking base. I think Ateba Gautier has the death touch. I am going to be taking Ateba Gautier and under half a round. I think that is going to be great value. I think that'll be somewhere around plus 200. Yeah, you just don't want to stand in an octagon with him. And Ateba Gautier he's still kind of raw. I mean, we can't sit here and say that we've seen everything from him because we really haven't. He's kind of been getting slow cooked by the UFC, which I like. I like how they're not throwing him into big matchups and killing this hype train. He's been a huge favorite in every single fight that he's been in. And time again, he shows that it's justified. I like the abilities that we've seen from him. I wish we could start seeing a little bit more. I think after this fight, I'm going to start wanting to see him in a little bit more of highly touted matchups, just so we can, as fans, really understand what we're getting with Ateba Gautier. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to happen very, very soon. So yeah, give me the silent assassin, Ateba Gautier, by under half a round knockout.
Chris, you want to know something crazy? You know, I was telling you about the ants up my desks before we started recording. There was a bunch of ants on my desk. One just crawled into my mouth.
Ew.
So I just ate an ant for the first time.
Yo, but that's protein.
I'm not gonna lie. That is exactly what Ateba Gautier is gonna do to Andrey Pulyaev. That was like the literal visualization of how this fight will look. But yeah, if we look at the odds, Gautier is like minus 850, which is gross. Pulyaev is plus 575. The props are where it makes more sense. Under 1.5 rounds, yeah, I lean under. Gautier by knockout, it's probably the correct read. If you're feeling spicy, I like what Chris was going with the under half a round. That's going to be plus money, but honestly, it's not even going to be huge plus money, which is not great for how likely it feels.
It'll be like plus 200.
I think it'll be plus 200, maybe plus 150. But Gautier by knockout, and I think it is destructive. We go from one huge favorite on this card to another. Umar Nurmagomedov taking on the veteran Deveison Figueiredo. Featured prelim. Chris, who are you going with?
Yeah, when I first saw these odds, I was like, there's no way that Umar Nurmagomedov is minus 1,600. The more and more I think about it, it's justifiable. I still think it's a little bit blown out of proportion. But yeah, I mean, Umar, good bounce back from against Mario Batista from his loss against Merab Dvalishvili. And in that fight, you know, in the Merab fight, we've said it time and time again, Umar had the fight in his hands. He was up 2-0. And then we know Merab is a cyborg, the cardio demon. He just started wearing down on him and really showed Umar where his weaknesses were. And, you know, there weren't many things that we thought were a weakness for Umar Nurmagomedov. Deveison Figueiredo, 3-2 in his last 5. One of those, he did suffer an injury, so you kind of gotta still be weary about him. That was against Corey Sandhagen in early May. He came back and won a split decision against Montel Jackson in October. And I think that was a very good bounce back for Figgy if he wants to be a player in the bantamweight division, which I still think he can be. I just think this is a bad luck of the draw for him. I think that Umar is going to put the pace on him. I just feel like Umar is a little bit better in every aspect of this. If Figgy was younger and this was more in his prime, obviously I think the line would be a lot closer, but I think Umar would still be a decently heavy favorite. Figgy likes to kind of beat around the bush, throw bombs here and there. Umar, very assertive in the wrestling game, and he does have striking. He's probably one of the better Dagestani strikers, even though he might not have, the most power in the world. His technique is very good, and I think that's something that you should pay attention to. I just think he pieces up Figgy and gets him in the clinch game and against the fence for 3 rounds. I see this going to decision. I don't really see a finish here. If Figgy can win a round going into round 3, I think that'll be very interesting. Personally, I think that we're going to see Umar with a dominant performance and try and get back in this bantamweight title picture, which he's still relatively in. Like he's just because he lost to Marab doesn't mean that he got sent all the way back down and now he has to make his way back to the top. Still the number 4 bantamweight in the world. I think Figgy, if you want to throw $5 or if you have enough money to throw $10 and you don't care about $10, I mean, he's plus 850. That's great value. Shrikar and I always say that no one in MMA is a plus 800 underdog. I mean, it's still there. If you think he can win a round spread might be great for you. I mean, plus 3.5 or would it be? Yeah, it'd be plus 3.
I can't do math.
It'd be plus 3.5. Yeah, it'll be plus 3.5. So that just means Figgy has to win a round on all judges' scorecards. It gets tricky though when you get like a 29-28 and then a 30-27. And then now you lose by half a point on a scorecard, which it's happened to me before. It sucks. Yeah, but I think Umar is going to run away with this. I think the line is still blown out of proportion just slightly. But Umar is definitely a decently sized favorite in this. So give me Umar by unanimous decision.
Yeah, I'm also picking Umar pretty comfortably. Now, I do think Figgy looks better here than he did against Corey Sandhagen. The rumor is he wasn't close to 100% for that one, and the knee got wrecked early. And look, Figgy is still dangerous. One of the hardest hitting flyweights ever, and that power has carried up to bantamweight. The man can crack. But the problem is he's fighting Umar. Umar is going to win the positional battle. He's going to land takedowns. He's going to control. And even if Figgy has moments, like maybe he drops Umar for a second, Umar just has that thing where he pops back up and still wins the round anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a 15-minute fight where more than half of it is Umar control time. Figgy's too good to get instantly steamrolled, but he's also 38 and not in his peak anymore. So I'm not calling a sub. I'm not calling a knockout. I'm calling what makes the most sense. Umar by unanimous decision. Umar is around minus 1450. Figgy like plus 850. Yeah, it's crazy wide. And yeah, some people are going to chase the biggest upset ever angle. I just don't see it. Over 2.5 makes sense. That's also going to be chalked. Umar decision probably isn't amazing value either, but as a read, it's the cleanest one. Umar Nurmagomedov by unanimous decision to close the prelims. And now we go to our main card, starting with, Jesus, man. This is how we are starting things on the main card.
Paramount era.
Arnold Allen versus John Silva. Holy hell, this is a banger. Insane way to start the Paramount main card, and I love the matchmaking. I'm picking John Silva, and I think he finds a finish. Now, Arnold Allen is really good. Like, top 7 featherweight good. Clean boxer, defensively sound, good cardio, well-rounded, hard to finish. He uses that cross block a lot, and he can absolutely win minutes. But Silva Silva has that power where it's like one touch and it changes everything. And I genuinely think he might be the hardest puncher at 145 right now. The Diego Lopez fight is the one people bring up, and fair. Silva got reckless and got caught. But I actually think that loss might have been the best thing for him long term. Like, now we get a more mature Silva, patient and still terrifying. I think Silva starts threading straights through Allen's guard, and even if Allen is disciplined early, those arms and that cross block are still going to take damage. Eventually, something gets through clean. Could Allen wrestle more? Maybe. He obviously trains with the Zahabis. If Faraz and that team came in saying, we're grappling, sure, that's the best path. But I don't see Allen suddenly turning into a full-time pressure wrestler in a fight where the danger on the feet is that high. So I'm calling it John Silva by knockout.
Ooh. There's a really big part of me that wants to take Arnold Allen in this fight. Very big part of me. But the one thing that is stopping me is just his inactivity and injury history as of late. He hasn't fought in a year. John Silva has been very active.
Last time was a year and 5 months ago, UFC 304 against Giga.
That's a long time. I'm not saying that Arnold Allen's going to come in and have some crazy ring rust, but your welcome back opponent is John Silva. That is not someone you really want to face after a year and a half layoff. I think that a lot of people are going to put weight on John Silva's knockout loss. So he rushed in, and Arnold Allen, he likes to stand and scrap, man. We've seen it before. And he has hands. He really does. I mean, he's a great striker. And I think that there are some people a little bit, overzealously high on John Silva. I think that Arnold Allen definitely has a path to victory in this, but he's going to need to play his cards perfectly. I'm going to take John Silva. I'm going to take him by decision. I think in a 3-round fight, Arnold Allen will be able to survive and, even land some pretty big strikes of his own. But I think this is going to be a 3-round war. I think this is an insane fight to kick off the main card. This almost feels like when UFC at, I believe it was 268, that was Usman versus Covington 2, when they started the main card with Gaethje and Chandler. Mm-hmm. This is going to get people in their seats for the start of the main card. And this is something you're going to want to tune into. This is going to be a war. I think that Arnold Allen definitely can do well. And I'm not, just saying, oh, John Silva is going to come in and wreck him. He could. He 100% could. From what we've seen from John Silva, I mean, this guy is crazy. I don't think he's going to let this knockout loss affect him too much. I really don't. If anything, it's going to make him even more mad and make him go for it even more. I don't think we're going to see a passive John Silva ever. But just, like I said, not fighting for a year and a half, coming back and facing one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC. That's a pretty tough ask for Arnold Allen. If Arnold Allen does win, that would be pretty cool, because that would mean it'd be a pretty good fight. But yeah, I'm gonna side with John Silva. I really wanted to take Arnold Allen just straight value, because I think plus 230 is pretty good value. But yeah, I think John Silva he's gonna be mad from what happened with Diego Lopez, and he's gonna want to come in and make a statement. And I think a long layoff Arnold Allen is someone that he can do it against.
So Allen around plus 215, Silva minus 265. Makes sense. What surprised me, though, the over is around minus 130. And Silva by knockout was around plus 140. That tells you the market is expecting patient Silva and Allen surviving. I'm still going to say the power shows up. I'm still going to go John Silva by knockout, but just some things to keep note of as we get closer and closer to the day. And Obviously, with all of these, we're going to watch the weigh-ins and we'll update our predictions shortly after. You can go follow our Instagram and our TikTok. We're going to be, and our Twitter as well. We're going to put all the socials down there. You can go follow us there and we'll put the graphic up with our final picks. We shouldn't expect too much change, but we'll see what happens at weigh-ins. All right, ladies, up next, Natalia Silva versus Thug Rose Namajunas. Chris, who you got here?
Whoo, Natalia Silva is her. She is her. Natalia Silva I'm going knockout. I am going knockout.
Wow. Okay.
That's bold. It's bold. Doesn't happen very often in women's MMA, especially in a pretty, I would say this is a high level women's MMA matchup. You know, Rose, she's been kind of hot and cold as of late, but I think Natalia Silva is going to come in here and make a big statement and make her case to be the undoubted next in line for a title shot against Valentina Shevchenko. I think personally, I thought that she should already be getting the title shot. Instead, she's fighting Rose Namajunas because she was supposed to fight Grasso.
It was supposed to be Rose versus Grasso.
Rose versus Grasso, yeah, and then Grasso.
Seattle co-main against Macy Barber.
Yeah. So Natalia Silva steps in, and I think she's stepping in because she really wants to make a statement. I think that her striking is superior. I think Rose is a good fighter. Do not get me wrong. I mean, she's reached the peak twice. Two-time champ and two-time champ. Yeah, two-time champ. Yeah. Okay. And she did it against one of the best women's fighters of all time in Zhang Wei Li, and that was by knockout. I mean, you call it a fluke, you say whatever you want. She knocked out one of the best women's fighters of all time. I mean,
Joanna.
Yeah, and Joanna, another one of the best women's fighters of all time. Yeah, I just think Natalia Silva striking is insane. She is a beast. And I think she's just going to overwhelm Rose. Obviously, if it goes to decision, I'm not going to sit there and be like, wow, I can't believe it went to decision. I'm just going with a little more of a bold take. I think Natalia Silva puts the pressure on and knocks out Thug Rose.
This is one of those fights where it really feels like a now versus then moment in the division. I'm riding with Natalia Silva by decision. Rose is still dangerous, still sharp, still one of the best technical strikers women's MMA has ever seen. So I'm not going to disrespect her, but this is just the reality. Natalia Silva is the now. She is 28, and her style is annoying as hell to fight. Constant lateral movement, kicks from the outside. She's really hard to track down clean. It's not just speed, it's rhythm. Fighters struggle to get comfortable against her. Rose at her best is a sniper, in and out movement, right? Straight punches, beautiful timing. But chasing Natalia around the cage for 15 minutes, I don't love that matchup for her. I think Natalia's volume ends up being the difference. She's going to touch Rose more often and just do more across rounds. So could Rose have moments? Absolutely. I could see a clean straight landing. Okay? I could see a body kick into punches. She's still elite in those exchanges. But I don't think she wins enough of them consistently. And if grappling comes into play, I actually think Natalia holds up fine there too. I wouldn't even be shocked if Natalia sneaks in some clinch work or cage pressure just to mix things up. So I'm calling it 29-28 Natalia Silva, maybe even 30-27 if she really stays busy. Natalia Silva sitting around minus 410 it's wide. I don't love laying that much chalk against a former champ like Rose, but I do agree with the direction. Over 2.5 rounds is minus 475. It's basically a lock price. And yeah, this feels like a decision fight. So I'm going to go Natalia Silva by unanimous decision. Obviously, Chris going with the knockout, which is definitely bold. I guess we can check the odds on that. If you bet Silva by knockout, it's plus 500. So definitely a lot of value you could get there. But for my money, I'm rolling with the decision. I think it goes the distance. I think Rose will stay in this fight, but ultimately she is not going to be the one to get it done. Oh man, featured fight: Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Derrick Lewis. I love Derrick Lewis. We all do. All right, we love the Black Beast in the war room. But I'm picking Waldo Cortes-Acosta, and I think he knocks him out. Waldo is on one right now. Active, confident, sharp. 3 fights in basically no time, and he's looked better every single time. He went distance with Pavlovich, beat Spivak on short notice, knocked dudes out. The guy is legit now. And the biggest thing, his boxing is clean. Former pro boxer, sniper straight right. He's not reckless. Derrick Lewis, on the other hand, is always dangerous. One punch can end the night. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. The early rounds have been slower lately. He loads up, and if he doesn't land clean, he's very hittable coming in. That's a bad habit against Waldo. I think Derrick tries to blitz. I think Waldo meets him with a straight right. And if Derrick goes down, I don't think he's popping back up. Could Derrick catch him? Of course, that's always in play. But if we're running this fight 5 times, I think Waldo wins it 4 out of 5. I really think so. Give me Waldo, and give me Waldo by knockout.
I have bet on Waldo Cortes-Acosta in every single UFC fight. It's worked out pretty well. Actually, very well. I don't think I can change. I'm picking Waldo Cortes-Acosta to win by knockout. It pains me. It pains me. I love Derrick Lewis. He's so good.
I do too.
He's very hit or miss. But when he hits, it's game over. Is there an opportunity for Derrick Lewis to win this fight? 1,000%. 1,000%. Derrick Lewis can pull anything out of the fire, and we've seen it before. Last 10 seconds of the 3rd round, first minute of the 1st round, he's done it all. But Waldo, man, he is just leveled up quick. I mean, he has became a star right in front of our eyes. I really think that this man is different, and he fights smart. He's not a brawler. He can brawl, but he's very technical with his shots. And for how powerful he is and how big he is, he's light on his feet. He moves around well, and he's good at hitting you. I mean, he just even when he loses, even in the fight that he lost to Sergey Pavlovich, he still did fairly well in that fight. I mean, he still landed shots on Sergey. And Sergey did the correct thing, took him down, really just wore on him. And Sergey kind of has a big head, so some of those shots didn't really do as much damage as they should have. Yeah, I just think he outclasses Derrick Lewis. I just feel like he's the better fighter, and I think Derrick Lewis 100% can land a shot. But am I really gonna go out on a limb and bet that I know Derrick Lewis is gonna knock him out? No, I'm not, because Waldo is he's very technically sound. I mean, he knows when to pick and choose his moments, and when he does, he wins. I mean, even in his last fight, yeah, technically he got knocked out by Ante Delia, but at the same time, it was an eye poke, which led to that happening. And I know I like, you can think, oh, if he got hit that hard by Ante Delia, what is he going to do when Derrick Lewis hits him? I think Waldo has the skills to not really let that happen. I mean, at least let him get hit flush. And even when he does, I mean, he's taken big shots. Mentioning the Sergey Pavlovich fight again. Pavlovich hit him pretty clean a few times. And we've seen Sergey put the lights out on many people. And Waldo took it in stride and smiled. However, Derrick Lewis is a different beast. No pun intended. He has knockout power like no other. I just think Waldo does a good job of not letting Derrick really get in close, sticking and moving, and one of those shots is gonna be a little too much for Derrick Lewis. Yeah, Waldo Cortes-Acosta by knockout. I'm sorry, Derrick Lewis. Don't come after me.
So
I pray Derrick Lewis wins though, because I really want a funny post fight interview in the octagon.
So Waldo's around minus 325, Derrick plus 260. That feels right. Knockout for Waldo is around minus 115. Yeah, I think that's the angle. I think I'm gonna go Waldo by knockout. Even round one knockout. Let's see what round one knockout is. Plus 275. Waldo by knockout in round one is plus 275. I think that's interesting because Waldo's timing early has been sharp.
It has been.
So I'm gonna go Waldo Cortes-Acosta by knockout, slays the Black Beast, and officially puts him in the contender conversation. All right. Co-main time. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong.
Great fight, by the way.
And I'm going to say it loud. Actually, I want you to go first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm taking Sean O'Malley. I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. Go make it easy. I think this is going to be a different test for Sean O'Malley than we've seen before. Obviously, definitely has the size advantage, the reach advantage, striking advantage, but got to give credit to Song Yadong. He is a good striker, and he's powerful, and he's tough as nails. I mean, sad that we saw one of his last fights, or actually his last fight was against Henry Cejudo, correct? That got deemed a no contest because of the eye poke.
Well, it was a technical decision for Yadong. So
technical decision. Yeah, because you're right. It went far enough into the fight. Yeah. Not something that you want to see. I believe it was inadvertent. It didn't really look intentional to me. But he's powerful. He's very good. If he gets in the clinch, in the dirty boxing range, he can really cause some havoc, and we've seen him do it before. But Sean O'Malley is a master at sticking to his range, especially against smaller fighters, and just kind of picking them apart. Unless their name is Merab Dvalishvili. Or Piotr Yan. I think that this is a fight that's going to elevate Sean O'Malley back into a, one fight away from a title shot. If they give him a title shot after this, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I'd probably disagree with that. But if Song Yadong wins, man, what a win it would be for him. I mean, he would elevate himself right into the title picture.
Yeah.
And that would obviously be the biggest win of his career and the most impressive by far. But we kind of saw it with Corey Sandhagen against when he fought Song Yadong. Just the length and the range fighting and the kickboxing, it really picked him apart, and he just wasn't able to get on the inside. And Song Yadong isn't a fighter that's going to shoot takedowns. And even if he does, I mean, O'Malley does have a pretty good BJJ background, but that's not obviously the skill he relies on the most. The skill he relies on the most is controlling the fight, because that's what he's best at, and luring his opponents into his counters, which is another thing he's great at. He has great feints. He makes you think that you're able to hit him. He takes one step backwards and boom, cracks you right on the button. I think that Song Yadong is definitely going to land a few shots on O'Malley, because I think he's going to be fearless. I don't think he's really going to be tentative with Sean O'Malley. Maybe in the first half of the first round as a whole, he might just try and feel it out and really, try and download the information he needs, see where he can choose his shots. But I think O'Malley is just going to coast to a 3-round victory, in my opinion. I don't really even see Song Yadong winning a round, if I'm being completely honest. I think we see a 30-27 unanimous decision for Sean O'Malley.
All right. Now I can say it out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sugar Show is back. I love this matchup for Sean. Song Yadong is explosive and dangerous, no question, but he's at his best when he's blitzing with wide hooks and big movements, and that's where Sean thrives. 5-inch reach advantage, cleaner straight shots, better distance management. I think Sean lives at the end of his punches in this fight. Long jab, straight right, body shots, movement. Song is going to swing big and miss a lot. Now, do I think Song's team wants wrestling? Yes, absolutely. They'd be stupid not to. But Song isn't Merab. He's not a chain wrestler. He can hit takedowns, but controlling Sean for long stretches, I don't see it. And even if Sean gets taken down once or twice, I think the Merab camps helped him more than people realize. I think he's going to scramble and go right back to work. Do I think Sean knocks Song out? I want to say yes, but Song's durability is ridiculous. He has been knocked out in forever. So I'm going to be responsible here. Sean O'Malley by unanimous decision. Sean is around minus 205. Song Yadong plus 170 makes sense. Sean by decision is plus 110. I think that's actually pretty solid value.
I love that.
His knockout prop is plus 300. Now, I also think, that's tempting. But I'm sticking with the cards. O'Malley by decision. Clean work from range. I think he's going to get it done and put himself right back in the mix to fight the current champion, Petr Yan. All right, main event time. If you guys are still with us, make sure you like up the video. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on those post notifications. Share the video. Just run this one up. It is the first card of 2026 and the Paramount era, and our main event, Justin Gaethje, the highlight versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblettett. All right, let's do it. For the interim lightweight belt. I don't know if y'all can see that. See the little picture behind me. I'm gonna do it. Oh my God, I'm doing it. The inspiration from the picture. Paddy the Baddy wins by submission.
Why did I even think you were gonna say Justin Gaethje?
Yeah, I'm going Paddy by sub. This matchup is bad for Justin Gaethje. Yes, Justin hits like a truck. Yes, the calf kicks are brutal. Yes, the overhands are dangerous. I get that. But here is the reality. He is 37 years old, and his entire career is built on absorbing damage to give damage. That works until it doesn't. Paddy is a big lightweight, and his hand speed is better than people give him credit for. He's not some helpless grappler on the feet. I think he lands shots. I think he eats some shots. But where this fight flips is in the clinch and on the mat. Justin Gaethje's biggest weakness has always been BJJ. Always. And Paddy's biggest strength, high-level jiu-jitsu. I don't think Paddy wins this with traditional double leg takedowns. I think he wins it with body locks, trips, eventually a back take. Once this fight hits the ground, the skill gap is massive. Rear naked choke, very live. Triangle, don't rule it out. Front choke, I think it's possible. And honestly, I wouldn't even be shocked if Paddy hurts Justin on the feet first and then jumps on a sub. So give me Paddy in this fight, and I think he's going to finish Justin Gaethje.
Why did I even think that you were going to take Justin Gaethje?
Because of the picture, man.
Yeah, I guess. And then I remembered, I'm like, wait, but Justin lost that fight. There's no way he's going to use that to take Gaethje. All right. My bad. Yeah, you know what they say. Scousers don't get knocked out until Saturday night. Give me Justin Gaethje by knockout. I agree. I think that Paddy has all the advantage when it comes to the ground game. And I'd be stupid if I disagreed with that. However, I think that Gaethje's going to give him a lot to handle on the feet. I don't. Yeah, he might be able to tag Gaethje. I do agree with you. I think the hand speed is fast for Paddy. But Gaethje has quick hands too. He's very good at darting in and out and landing big shots in inopportune moments. I think calf kicks are going to play a big part, like you said. I think Paddy's going to eat some big calf kicks, and I think that might start to immobilize Paddy if he isn't able to get it done. I think Paddy's going to have to get it done quick, in my opinion, which is possible.
Define quick. How quick?
Within 2 rounds.
I'd give him 3.
Okay. All right. We'll say 2.5. How about that? Well, we'll set a line. Maybe we'll even have a side wager, me and Shrikar, over 2.5, under 2.5.
Let's make the side wager 3.5. I'm going to say under. Paddy wins and under.
See, but I would take the under too, because I think Gaethje can knock him out at under 3.5.
How about this? I'll go Paddy and under 3.5, and you just go Gaethje. That'll be our side wager. I'm willing to throw down
okay.
You want to do like $10 on it? I'll do $10
sure.
on it.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like it.
Because if anything, like, you have the advantage in this case now. Because let me look at it. Because
because you just fought. But then
Gaethje money.
Yeah, I guess because I only need one thing to happen.
Well, Gaethje money line is plus 190, and I need Paddy in the under, which is let's see, Paddy.
Let's see if you let me see what it would be if I actually parlayed that right now.
That's what I'm looking for.
Over and under is 2.5 right now.
Yeah, I'm sure I can get an alternate line though.
Oh, I can't parlay these.
Yes, I can. 3.5.
Under
3.5 is minus 200. Not combinable.
That's what I'm saying. All right, let's go to an odds calculator.
But they should also have it on DraftKings.
Yeah, but no, because I don't think it's a same game part. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's see, because I can do quick same game, or no, I can do like a same game parlay builder.
While he puts that up, I'll give you guys the odds that we're seeing right now.
Okay, it's plus 105, Shrikar.
Okay, yeah, I'm willing to take the bet then.
All right,
I'm willing to do it. I mean, I think it's gonna happen. Paddy is around minus 230, and Justin is plus 190 right now. And if we look at Paddy by sub is plus 130. Honestly, that's my favorite prop on the card. I'm willing to go Paddy by sub instead of Paddy in the under 3.5.
All right, we can take that. I'm down.
Run that. And inside the distance also makes a ton of sense. I'll go ahead and find that for y'all.
Yeah. I just think that, all right, Gaethje, yes. In BJJ is not great. Not at all. In wrestling and grappling, he's very solid. Or more wrestling than grappling, excuse me. I shouldn't loop those in together. He's a good wrestler, and everyone forgets that because no one sees him wrestle because he doesn't wrestle and he doesn't really need to use it. And a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, but Rafael Fiziev took him down 2 times in their last fight." I think that's a very different scenario when Gaethje is not expecting Fiziev to be shooting takedowns, someone that doesn't do it. It's kind of like Peyton Talbot taking down Henry Cejudo twice. Now, I'm not comparing Gaethje and Cejudo in terms of wrestling, but it was the surprise factor that landed those takedowns. Cejudo did not expect Peyton Talbot to be shooting on him. And I think that's kind of one in the same scenario-wise. I just feel like you said, Paddy's biggest path to victory is running Gaethje up against the fence, clinch work, maybe a few trips. But when Gaethje gets against the fence, he fights like a rabid dog. He does everything in his power to get back the center of the octagon and take control. So, look, small part of me, I see value on Justin Gaethje. I want to jump all over it. However, I also think that Gaethje, he gets counted out. He does. And look, he was a favorite in the Holloway fight. It was because Holloway was moving up to lightweight. No one really knew exactly how he was going to translate. We've seen what Max Holloway has done at lightweight. He's phenomenal. But when Gaethje gets counted out, he puts his best work on display. I think that he's going to beat Paddy. I'm going to say right now, I think Sam's probably going to take Paddy too. You guys will see that on the top of the screen. But if I'm a lone wolf, I am very okay with being a lone wolf in this. I think Gaethje, he's going to do it. I think he's going to fight Ilya in the summer. And if he loses that fight, he's going to retire. And if he loses this fight, I think
when he loses that fight.
When he loses that fight, yeah.
It's if the fight will happen.
But the one thing about Gaethje though is he does have a puncher's chance in whatever fight he's in. Even in the fights he's lost against Charles. I guess, yeah, you're right. But Chandler and Gaethje are just in two separate worlds.
I don't really think so. Because all the things that people were saying about Gaethje are the same things people were saying about Michael Chandler.
Yeah, but Chandler is a far worse striker than Michael Gaethje. He just has power.
Charles Oliveira couldn't finish Michael Chandler.
Yes, he did.
Not the second time.
Oh. You're right.
Same version of Chandler, Paddy finished in 3 rounds.
Okay. I guess. I actually have no comeback for that.
I mean, I saw the inside the distance prop. It's minus 150. I also think that makes a ton of sense.
I do like that.
But yeah,
I don't see this going to decision. What is it to go the minus 150? So to go the distance, it'll be like what, plus 120?
Probably. I think to not go the distance, it's like minus 360. So
oh my God.
It'd probably be like plus 275.
Oh, Paddy inside the distance is minus 150?
Paddy inside the distance
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm like, that's kind of crazy, especially if the over-under is 2.5 and the under is a tiny, tiny favorite.
Yeah, but we're split on this one. We differed on the Michael Johnson as well. But I'm going Paddy Pimblett by submission, becomes interim champ, and sets up a monster fight with Ilia Topuria later this year. That is going to be very exciting, but that's the full card. We're back. 2026 UFC on Paramount. Back on business. Chris,
standing on business.
Last words before we peace out of the video.
I didn't show it before, but I'm wearing this cool sweatshirt that my cousins got me. MMA Life, Train, Fight, Repeat. Shout out. You know we do this. Me and Shrikar and Sam, we do this.
Yeah, we do.
Glad we can get back and put out some content for you guys. We weren't as active over the past 6 weeks as we probably wanted to be. Schedules weren't aligning, but we tried to get some things out for you guys. We'll figure out the future. But stay tuned. There's going to be some surprises coming your guys' direction. I'm not going to spoil it, but I've been working on a little something, so we'll put that out there when it's ready. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, try and do our best with the picks. New year, new war room. Well, new year, same war room. And yeah, that's it. I'm excited for this card. I know you are too, Shrikar. This is going to be a banger.
It definitely will. It definitely will. If you enjoyed this, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and drop your picks in the comments. If you agree with us, you disagree, I want to hear it. And if you've got nothing to say, then like will do. Love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed the card. Peace out.